All right, good morning. It is the Schultzycast, episode 24. Time does fly. Let's see, we're not doing too much. All right. Brutal Cajuns loss. That's just a brutal Cajuns loss. And more, I didn't recognize how much of a trap game it really was. In between Coastal and Southern Miss, not great. So we'll talk about that. Cajun softball does survive in a big way. McNeese had a big opportunity in the ninth inning to steal one from the Cajuns. Pels fall 2-0. I thought OKC would play better, and they did. We'll see if the Pelicans can get one at home. They missed their opportunity in game one. It is NFL draft day. Are the Patriots really going to fire Bill Belichick and trade down again? And the reason they're not getting Caleb Williams is because, or not Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, is because they beat the Denver Broncos on Christmas Eve. Wonderful. All right. I guess I should be happy if they take Drake May because everyone tells me how great Drake May is. I don't see it yet, but we'll see. All right. We'll see. Also doing festival tonight. Saints won't draft. I mean, the draft starts at 7, right? Or the broadcast starts at 7, but the first pick isn't until like 7:10 or 7:15. And the Saints are 14th unless they trade up. And that's going to be a couple of hours. So I'll be home. I'm going to go see Sue Foley. I saw Sue Foley play back at South by Southwest when it wasn't quite as big as it is today. And we were in Anton's, and Sue Foley was on stage. And then another woman came on stage, and she was Candy Kane. And she sang the funniest song, Big Women Need Lovin' To. And it was awesome. And at the time, Candy Kane was a big woman, and Sue Foley was playing backup. And then a few years ago, when I was in the Keys, Candy Kane is just coming to a bar and she, going through cancer, and now she's a really skinny woman, right? And we talked about that. I have an interview of her somewhere. I don't know. I brought my recorder. I probably erased it, but I brought a recorder and I didn't keep it. I should have. But I'm looking forward to seeing Sue Foley. Hopefully, I presume the weather's going to cooperate. And then we'll come home and watch the draft. All right, Cajuns baseball. Well, thank you so much for tuning into the Schultzycast. Again, episode 24. Please like, share, and subscribe. Again, I got to do a better job on my end to promote it on a regular basis. But here we are. Cajuns baseball is just a bad loss. And I didn't get there. I actually went to go see Moscona for a couple of minutes, so I was late. And so were the Cajuns, because by the time I showed up, it was 2-0. And so not a great start by Blake McGahee. All right. So those 2 innings, he recovers in the second. Then Marshall comes in and he gives up 2 runs. And it's 4-0. And, a couple of line drives by the Cajuns, and Debo had a tough night. I mean, he just crushed the baseball 4 times, and 3 of them he made out on. And then he had 1 dribbler in the 9th. And it just kept on getting away from them. And then all of a sudden, they exploded, right? Holtzhammer comes in. Well, first it was Stephen Cash comes in, gets ahead 0-2, and then hits a batter. So it was a 4-0. I'm sorry, it was 4-1 game. Cajuns they got like first and second and got 1 on, or got scored 1. And make it a 4-1 game. And then it's first and second. Stephen Cash comes in. 0-2 hits a batter. He's out of the game. That's the bases loaded. Here comes Holtzhammer. Pass ball, wild pitch. I thought they were on, like a miscommunication on the wild pitch. No, that was a wild pitch. That was 5 feet outside. And so all of a sudden it's 6-1. Then it was like a 2-run double and a home run. Like bam, 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 bam. Did I miss a run in there? Let me see what happened here in the 5th inning, because it was fast. Pass ball, wild pitch, 2-run double, and 2-run home run. So that's, why am I short on that? 4-1. All right. Because they hadn't scored yet. Yeah, I'm not adding that right. That's not coming up in my head. They scored 2. And they scored 1 on the pass ball. That's 5. Scored 1 on another one. That's 6. Double to left field. Oh, it's just an RBI double. I thought it was a 2-run double. So it was an RBI double. Okay. So it was an RBI double and a 2-run home run. Bada boom, bada bing. And it's 9-1. Then the Cajuns come back. They respond, and I know this is not the Cajuns' fault, right? And they can take advantage, but they got a lot of help in that bottom of the 5th, right? DeBarge walks. Pastore's hit on a 3-2 pitch. He's hit a couple of times. All right. Higgs strikes out swinging. Okay. Taylor walks to load the bases. Stelly is hit by a pitch. So far, you have a run without a base hit, without putting the ball in play. Walk, hit by pitch, walk, hit by pitch. So still bases loaded, 1 out. Torres with a bloop single only scores 1 because it hung in the air. Couldn't tell if the right fielder was going to make the catch. So now it's a 9-4. It's still a 9-3. It's a 9-3 ball game. Only 2 runs have scored. All right. So this is where you kind of thought maybe the Cajuns were catching a break. Cuff bounces 1 to second. It's a double play ball. The second baseman bobbles it. So Taylor scored. That makes it 9-4. Bases still loaded. Jackson Halter, of all people, comes in. He doubles down to left. That makes it 9-6. So you have the tying run at the plate. Yuhas reaches on a throwing error. Also, the first baseman dropped the ball, but a throwing error. And that allows Cuff to score. And that makes it 9-7. So through all of that, the Cajuns only caught up by 1. Entering the inning, they were down 4-1. Following the inning, they were down 9-7. Houston Christian scores a run in the 7th. Cajuns 2 in the 8th. Lee Amity almost. It didn't really look like he got it, to be honest with you. It didn't look like he hit it well. I thought the center fielder live could have caught the ball, but he could not have. It was out of his reach. But he comes up with a huge 2-run triple. And they couldn't get that run home. But I was like, all right, you cut the 3-run lead down to 1. What can you do in the 9th? And, I mean, Higgs almost, I think he missed a home run. What do you want me to say? I'd say 10 feet, but maybe 15 feet. Like, it was 5 feet short and like 5 feet foul. I mean, he just missed one. And then he ends up striking out. It's a bad loss. I mean, the Cajuns were 57 last night. I think they're down to 58 RPI wise. What do I do with it? All of that work to get all the way up in the 50s and your RPI wise. Or to get up in the 40s, right? Like they were 42, 43. Now they're 58. And now you go to the predictive stats, to the predictive record, and it doesn't look good because now you've just lost to Houston Christian. So, of course, you're not going on the road to beat Troy. You're going to lose 2 out of 3. They think Southern Miss is going to take 2 out of 3, and they're going to finish 39-17 with an RPI of 48. All right. So you can see one more win could get them in the low 40s, I guess, on the proverbial bubble. For me, I think the bubble for at-large berth teams is in the mid-30s. That's the bubble to me. That's why I wanted to be, a top 30 club. And so I'm not worried about this Sun Belt Conference tournament. And, you get a bloop, a bleeder, an error, bad bounce, a bad call. Just don't want to leave it up to chance. And again, I've talked about this. I would like to be able to insert, wins and losses to see how the RPI would change. I don't know if there's a website to do that with. But you can kind of get the idea. And Deggs is talking about getting to 40. All right. And we were always joking, right? Like when they were on this winning streak, the predictive was like 45-11. And that was, that wasn't going to happen because that's not baseball. You're not going to roll. You're not going to lose 2 games the rest of the way. He wants to win 40 games and thinks he'll be in good shape. Okay. So that's, generally speaking, you have 4 series left, right? It is, I don't know what the order is. It's Southern Miss. I thought it was Georgia Southern, but it's Troy. Southern Miss, Troy, Georgia Southern, South Alabama. So 40 wins is 8 wins, 2 out of 3 each series, and Jackson State. All right, so that's 9. And that's how you get to 40. All right. I would really like to sweep the home series. That would get me to 42. And you still got to take 2 out of 3 on the road. Now, hashtag there's always a bright side, right? They don't have a bad RPI right now. South Alabama is 70, Georgia Southern 68, Troy is 71, Southern Miss is 46. Some of this could change, right? Do we have some losses, or what happened last night? Coastal lost. They got swept by Creighton, which isn't awful, but it doesn't help the rest of the Sun Belt. Let me see what happened last night in the Sun Belt. Let's see here. Mercer run rules Georgia Southern, so they split. Georgia State lost to Presbyterian. Coastal lost, and the Cajuns lost. That was a bad night for the Sun Belt. That's just overall a bad night for the Sun Belt. Not great. All right. So, again, this is what I was concerned about, that the schedule, I'm not going to change now. The schedule that the Cajuns put together stunk. The Cajun, he said 40, I would rather be closer to 45. Maybe 42 gets it done. I'm not sure 40 gets it done. Right? Because this predictive stats got them at 39-17. And their RPI is, it just changed again. 39-17, and they get an RPI of 54. So if they go 40-16, their RPI is going to be 49. You got to win 2 or 3 games in the Sun Belt Conference tournament. Not that they can't do that, but I was kind of looking to avoid that. That's the idea. That our place is secure. We're are we going to be a 2 seed? Or are we going to be a 3 seed? That's what my concern was. Again, Southern Miss has been a tough season. They lost their starter, Amistad. Let's see. Let's break this down a little bit. Let's see what Southern Miss is on the road, because they just have not had a great season. They've had a little bit of a disappointing season. They're 26-15. That's not bad. At home, they're 8-5. On the road, at home, they're 18-5. On the road, they're 8-7. Let's see who they've lost to on the road in the conference. They did lose to Nichols at home. Got a Mississippi State loss, and that's at home. They did lose 1 to La Tech, which, they beat La Tech twice. Both those teams played the Cajuns. They did lose 2 out of 3 at Georgia Southern a month ago. Let's see here. They did, they took 2 out of 3 from Troy at home. They did lose 2 out of 3 to South Alabama. A little bit of they won the 3rd game. That's a huge win for them. They did lose 2 out of 3 to Georgia State and took the final game. So they did that twice. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I got that backwards. They won 2 out of 3 to South Alabama and lost the Sunday game. They lost 2 out of 3 to Georgia State and won the Sunday game, or the last game. And they had ULM last week. They took 2 out of 3 at home, and they had a nice win over Tulane earlier this week. So, they're in a spot. Southern Miss is in a spot where, they have 2 weekends, if they beat the Cajuns 2 out of 3 and then take Coastal down 2 out of 3, which isn't out of the realm of possibilities, and all of a sudden, they're 46 RPI right now, right? Is all of a sudden, that's where the Cajuns wanted to be. So they're 46. And if they take 2 out of 3 from the Cajuns and 2 out of 3 from Coastal, then they'll be sitting in that 30 mark with like App State and ULM still to come. Or no, they just played ULM. Like App State, and it's not a difficult. It's Arkansas State and Texas State. So Texas State, that's at home. They do go to Arkansas State. Those are not great RPI schools, but if you take 2 out of 3 from both of them and maybe sweep Arkansas State, although that's on the road, again, they'll be where the Cajuns want to be. So they're coming in here wanting these as well. I mean, I think the Cajuns need to win, I'm going to say 10 or 11 out of 13. They're going to need to sweep the 2 teams at home and win 2 out of 3 on the road, and don't lose to Jackson State. I say that tongue in cheek, but I really didn't think they were going to lose to Houston Christian. And that's just a bad loss. That's a bad loss. They left 14 men on base. They got a couple of big base hits, but they got a lot of help from Houston Christian, right? I mean, I went over the box score. Is this the box score? I don't think it is. I think this is softball. Yeah, that's softball. They had, let me see if we got the box score here. Game status, scorecard, visitor stats. You want to get this one? Houston Christian gave up 10 hits, 7 walks. They hit 4 batters and 2 errors. So that is 17, 21, 23 base runners. Cajun scored 9 runs. That's not bad, but they left 14 men on base. 5 in the first 3 innings. What kind of Houston Christian set the tone? Goodness. Houston Christian left 3 men on base. God, it was a bad night. All right. Meanwhile, we'll continue. We gotta move on. And I will give Deggs credit. Foot went to Nate Bargatze. Anybody go to the comedian last night? He's a very funny guy. I like his stand-up. A lot of people went to that. Moscona came to town. I met his wife for the first time. So I was the only one there. And again, I will say, so usually you don't know what takes long. Sometimes he's not happy with the way they played and they win. And sometimes he's disappointed, right? Deggs was not happy last night. There's nothing happy about last night. Although Carson Fluno pitched okay. All right. And apparently the rotation is going to be the same this weekend. So, this could be his pen day, and it was. So by the time I got down there, and I'm not sure if it's 5 minutes after the game, right? I wait for Sully to finish up with the scorebook online so I can post the final score and the Cajun stats. I usually have my tweet done, and I'm just waiting for that. Whatever the outcome is, I have that tweeted out. I thought I had to change it last night. May have changed it, but I didn't. So we put that in there and get that out as soon as possible. It might take me 5 minutes to get downstairs. All right. Last night, by the time I got down there, they were already in prayer. Hats were already off. They were in the dugout. That was fast. So then he goes, talks to Topham, and then comes over to me. And he's like, "You're the only guy?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm it." So he did say, we got to be perfect because of the scheduling, and that's not easy to deal with. Happy with the way the guys battled back. It was not the pitcher's night. It's just, and these guys have pitched well, right? McGee's pitched well. Marshall's pitched well. Christie's pitched well. Holzhammer's pitched well. Not last night. It didn't go that way. And so you got to bounce back. You got to put it behind you, right? Again, there's a time to ruffle feathers, and then there's a time to pump them up. And, when you play pro ball, and that is the one thing that you learn as baseball players, and football is so different. football, I don't know if you've ever had a chance to be on the field after a pro football game. And if you just look at and there's no thrilling victory at the end, you just take some 27-13 ball game. All right. And you just look at the offensive linemen of each team, and you may be hard pressed to see who won, because these are 25, maybe even 35-year-old men, and they know they're going to be in pain the next day, and you can't see it. And they put everything they have into one game. Baseball, you can't really do that. Baseball, you got a game the next day. You got to slough it off. So that's the benefit of baseball and the grind of baseball, right? Because, for 3 weeks, the Cajuns could not lose. They could not miss clutch base hits. They always got the big out. And now they're struggling. And so now you got to pump them back up, getting back to days. You got to pump them back up to get ready for this weekend and set the tone. And hopefully the pitching comes around again. And, it's two of your best pitchers, Herman and Langevin. So hopefully that'll be the case. And we'll see a good win on Friday. Now I'm going to Sulphur for softball. So we'll see if we're back. We'll see how quickly that Friday night game goes. I'm helping out Jeff Schneider, former SID, with his dad, right? They do the LHSAA network online, so you can watch the games and on the app. And so I'll be over there, and there's games like at 12, 2:30, and 5, barring any weather situations. So if that third game starts at 5, over at 7, I'll be home by 8:30, maybe 8. And the way these Cajuns games go, it's going to be really close to the end. So we'll see if we can make it. Certainly should be able to listen to it on the way back. Oh, speaking of that, yeah, you know who we're blaming? Foot texted me, by the way, because he went to the comedian last night. He texted me. He's like, I missed one game and you dropped the ball, and I'm blaming it on Dawson. Dawson took over for Jay Walker and he lost. That's all I know. Jay Walker wasn't around. He had some sort of commitment, whatever that means, as if he didn't know that Houston Christian was coming in, as of last November, whatever the case is. But Dawson, from ESPN 1037, he did the play-by-play, sounded pretty good, but they lost. So I'm blaming Dawson for the loss. Yeah. Not Holzhammer's fault, not Higgs' fault, Dawson's fault. Basically, that's what we're going. That's what we're going with. He is 0-1 calling Cajuns baseball this year. Although I think he's maybe done more than one. All right. Meanwhile, Cajun softball, they survive. They survive against McNeese, 5-4. They were down 3-0, and this also has letdown game. Although it's a rivalry, but you come off a huge win against LSU. You're going to Lake Charles. McNeese jumps on top, 3-0. And the Cajuns come back and put 3 on the board in the third. They scored a run in the 5th, a run in the 6th. And it's 5-3 into the 9th. And McNeese loads the bases. Loads the bases with 1 out. And apparently a ground ball to short. And when they try to turn the double play, Langoliers drops the ball. I'm not sure I've ever seen it. They didn't even get 1 out. So now it's 5-4. Chloe comes back in. I think she came in for that. I think Landry was in, loaded the bases on walks, and Chloe came in, got the ground ball, and makes it 5-4. And for dramatics, she strikes out the next 2 hitters. So Cajuns softball, their RPI continues to go up. Let me see. It couldn't have fallen that much. They were 14. I thought it would have gone up a little bit more. RPI. Their schedule probably fell 2. No, they still have non-conference out of schedule. Non-conference strength of schedule for the Cajuns in softball is 1. And their non-conference record is 18-14. Let's compare that for blanks and giggles, if you will, against the baseball team. Because, again, we saw this from the get-go. The baseball team's out-of-conference record is 16-9, but their non-conference schedule ranking is 158. And that's the difference. They got a little bit better of a record of 31-12. Basically, that seems like about the same. Maybe a little bit better, because otherwise it's, you're 4-3 to get to 35-15. But softball scheduled to host a regional, and maybe if you win a couple more games, host a super regional. That's the way they scheduled, just based on the schedule. The Cajun schedule was based on winning 40 to 45 ball games just to get in. We're not worried about hosting. Now, it's different. Cajun softball, is generally a top 25 team, right? Baseball this year has been top 25 over last month, but it took 16 straight wins to get there, right? They have not been a top 25 team over the last, 4 or 5 years. All right. And so one scheduled, I don't want to say back their way in, but one scheduled to not host, and then the other one scheduled to host and maybe super regional, which they won't be able to do now. Let's see where they had them up to 10, I think. Cajun softball was up to 10. Let's see. RPI. Cajuns, they are 14. They're 35-15. Let's do that predicted results again. Because, they got them losing one. I don't know why I see that. RPI of 14. They're going to lose Friday. They play Troy Thursday, Friday, Saturday. They're going to lose the game on Friday in Troy. Again, it's all mathematics. They get ULM this week. You have to be careful. ULM's 28-20, and we're contending there for a little bit at the top of the standings. But you have to take care of ULM, and I agree with Jerry Glasgow. If they take care of business, if they win out, and that may include winning the Sun Belt Conference tournament, they'll probably be hosting, and that's fun. That's fun. We saw, certainly they put on a show. Not only did they beat LSU, but they put 2,500 in the stands. That's awesome. You need why we should be hosting example. There it is. All right. It is the Schultzycast. By the way, going to this, I'm going to have to figure out eating wise. I doubt I can find some matzah in Lake Charles on Saturday. So I'm probably just going to have a big breakfast and maybe bring a peanut butter and jelly sandwich with me on matzah. I don't need a lot. I could bring a protein shake. I don't need a lot, and I could just sit there and drink water. Hopefully that won't be too much of an issue. By the way, that's been my problem. I've put on a little bit of weight because I've just decided to eat more. I don't know why that's the case. Okay, so let's see what else we did. Again, I need a better way to do this. Pelicans are down 0-2 to OKC. Not much of a surprise. Oklahoma City played better in game 2. Brandon Ingram, I think we're seeing the final days of him. But I think it was more about Oklahoma City playing better. And actually listening, surprisingly, you can get on the radio here. Todd Graffanini, I wasn't really complaining about the officials. He's like, we don't know how to stop Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. How do you stop him? He had 2 guys bothering him on the dribble, and he still gets into the middle of the lane and either goes in for a layup or dishes it off. So basically complimenting OKC. So we'll see if they get one coming back here at home. We knew it was going to be tough without Zion. And again, they had their shot in game 1 to steal one, right? Although the problem is they play better on the road. But you kind of saw last night coming, right? OKC's inexperienced when it comes to playoffs. They're expected to win. I haven't played for a week. Pelicans had a chance. Absolutely had a chance. All right, let's see what else we got. It is NFL draft day. So all of a sudden yesterday, the big news was that, was it the Giants like Drake May? And now JJ McCarthy's come out and he likes the Giants like him. So it's out there. I don't know. Again, I wanted Jaden Daniels, and I brought this up with my guy Jim Nagy from the Senior Bowl. Such a great guy. I could not. I'm the first one to tell you this. And this was before Jaden. I got let go at the end of November, so this is in October, early November. This is kind of before Jaden was the all-out favorite to win the Heisman, or maybe at the time he was heading in that direction, because I couldn't see the difference, or a big enough difference where we're saying Caleb's number 1, Drake May's number 2, and Jaden Daniels is at the bottom of the first round. I did not see that. Where is it? Where is that huge difference? Now, right now, the difference is that those guys are slightly bigger, right? Although isn't Jaden Daniels like 6'3"? So those guys are like 6'4" in the 230s. Jaden is like in the 210s, something like that. So that's about it. All right. Maybe they've got stronger arms, I guess. I didn't see, if you want to tell me that Caleb's number 1 and Drake's number 2, and that Jaden Daniels would be quarterback number 3, but be a top 10 pick. All right. There's, then that's based on need, right? Like, we don't think Arizona's drafting a quarterback. We don't think the Chargers are drafting a quarterback, right? And so if you're a top 10 pick, then it's not a total, there's not that big a difference. All right. And now all of a sudden, Jaden Daniels has vaulted to Washington. He doesn't want to go there. I mean, Diana Rossini's putting out, sources tell me he'd rather play for his high school coach and Antonio Pierce. All right. Well, where do you think that's coming from? Probably not coming from the Jaden Daniels camp. That's coming from the Antonio Pierce camp. Probably, let's figure out that source. Probably Antonio Pierce. All right. Sometimes these reporters give away their sources, and it's pretty obvious. Again, we'll be out at Sioux Foley at Festival International. Saints, maybe, I guess, going to pick James Hurst, retired yesterday. Again, maybe a surprise to us, but probably not a surprise to the Saints. And they got to take an offensive lineman, and they're hoping more and more people trade up for wide receivers and for quarterbacks and leave the offensive lineman for them. And we'll see where Dallas Turner is selected, and Brock Bowers. The Saints need something boring, and that's going to be an offensive lineman. We think the first 2 teams are taking their picks, right? So do the Patriots trade down? Arizona trade down? Do the Giants trade up? Do the Giants take a quarterback? The Vikings trade up? We'll see what happens. It is a long draft, right? It is just it takes all night. Thank goodness we're here in the Midwest, if you will, or the Central Time Zone. So it's not the end of the complete night. But I bet you, like, Sioux Foley is expected to play. Let's see. I got it here somewhere. Sioux Foley playing at Laborde and Earls. By the way, did I see School of Rock is not playing this year? Did I miss that? Sioux Foley's scheduled to play at 7:30 to 8:45. The Saints won't pick before 9. Well, it's going to be close. But do I have to sit there and watch it? Yeah, so I'm thinking, I do not see. I thought the School of Rock played really well. I saw the School of Rock last year. They were really good. I had just arrived, I guess I was here a month earlier. I do not see the School of Rock play. All right, well, that's kind of disappointing. Maybe I'm just not seeing it through all of it. And what's the headlining act? I don't know what the headlining act is. Yeah, I don't know. But I'm looking forward to it. At least a little blues tonight, and then the NFL draft, and we'll do softball. We do have spring football. Be interesting to see if Chandler Fields plays. He mentioned Desimo mentioned on Tuesday that Winfield and I need to figure out their names. Hold on a second. Position. My fault. Hang tight. That Samari Collier, all right, and Dwayne Winfield, known as Lunch. They're going to be live, all right. And he said Chandler Fields is not. I didn't understand if that was meant Chandler Fields is not live, like he'll have a red jersey on, or do they really need to play Chandler Fields? Don't they kind of know what Chandler Fields is bringing to the table? I'm not even sure I would play Chandler Fields. The other two guys, let's go at it. Let's see what you got. And, as of a couple of weeks ago, they were really struggling. Much better last weekend. So, which is not surprising. And so let's see what happens this year, right? The Cajuns, people are going to use this as an excuses. Some people are going to see this as excuses. I see it as reasons. When Hudspeth was really successful here, I think he had like a 3-year stretch where he did not have one hurt offensive lineman. Not one. Last year, the Cajuns lost their center. They had to play 3 centers in one game because the backup center, was it A.J. Gilly? Couldn't snap it. They put a freshman in there, and he was fine. That may have been against Southern Miss, right? Or was it Georgia State? Anyway. And then Levi Lewis started every game for 3 years. Every single game. The last 2 seasons, the Cajuns have played 3 quarterbacks, have started 3 last year. Started 2 the year before, but Zion Chris played in the bowl game. Now, a couple of years ago, that was nuts with what happened to quarterbacks. Chandler's in, then he's out, banged up. Oh, and then go on the road and play Florida State. Stay high. So you got to have the quarterbacks ready, but the Cajuns can ill afford to have Chandler Fields hurt. And what do we got? May, June, July, August. You got 4 months for Ben Wildridge to be healthy. Now he's got a Liz Frank injury. Isn't that the pinky toe? So I had that. I had the bone right below that. I did it in November. No, I'm sorry. I did it in, and I'm not playing college football. I injured it in June. And I don't think I was running on it until November. Now, he had surgery. I didn't have surgery. He tried to do it not with surgery, but he had surgery in November. We're 5 months later. Does he need another 4 months? Is he going to be ready? You'd like Ben Wildridge to be ready. You'd like him to be ready in 3 months for camp, right? So if you have Chandler Fields and Ben Wildridge, you're pretty good there. But you got to get the other guys ready just in case, because that's what's happened, right? I mean, on Lockdown Sunbelt, we had Tim Beck from Coastal Carolina. He had to play the 4th string quarterback against, I thought it was Marshall, but it was Texas State, because Grayson was already down with a concussion. And then Jared Guest got hurt. And then Ethan Vasco got hurt. And so you're putting in the 4th string quarterback. Hey, stay hot. Which, is funny because the coaches always tell the players you got to be ready. Be ready, be ready, be ready. And you're thinking 4th string quarterback, I'm not getting in. Yeah. And even Chandler Fields last year, well, he's the backup quarterback. So you definitely have to be ready as the backup quarterback. But remember, he got in against Arkansas State and he had to complete a 3rd and 14, which, by the way, he did. Now, he ended up throwing an interception on that drive at the end, which I thought was a better play by the defense. But nonetheless, you got to be ready. I think that's about it. Yeah, festival kicked off last night. Did not go. Went to the Cajuns baseball game, obviously. And we'll be at Sioux Foley tonight. So hopefully parking won't be that bad on a Thursday. maybe go downtown. I can't eat. I can't go grab pizza. I can have an ice cream, but without the cone. But what's the point of that? The cone's like the best part. So we can do Tim Leger. We're getting Tim Leger today, the Cajuns offensive coordinator, and that's it. Foot wants to see there and go nuts of all the tackles that are going to be taken in the draft. So I'm going to go down to see Sue Foley. So can't drink a beer, can't have a bourbon. So we're staying away from that. And I just need to eat less. I'm just eating like I've ate 2 pounds of bologna since like Sunday. So maybe just don't eat. I was doing a better job when it wasn't Passover and not eating. Now, we just need to settle down a little bit. All right. So we'll see if the Cajuns can bounce back against Southern Miss. We'll see if I can get back for a Friday night wrap-up. Saturday is the same thing. You got the Voodoo playing this week. I just want a cap. All right. By the way, I'm setting the over-under at 3 games. We'll see if they play more than that. It's being slapped together at the last minute. I'd be shocked if there was 1,000 people there on a Saturday evening during festival. Hasn't been a lot of promotion. It's been some news stories, but that's all I've seen, right? All right, 55. That's pretty good. And we went 40 minutes. We are heading to I did get a bourbon, which I absolutely did not need, but I got a bottle of bourbon yesterday. I was going to go all the way to Louisville to get it, but I got it here. So pretty cool. I missed it. I actually went into Total Wine on Tuesday, missed it. People posted it online, tried to order it online on Tuesday night, wasn't there. Order it online on Wednesday, and it was there. So that's nice. Yeah, I have like 120 bottles of bourbon. That's way too much. And now we got a couple more raffles, Nunu's and Rouse's. And I'm going to Louisville. It's a struggle. Again, I do not have a drinking problem. I really don't. I have a buying problem. I absolutely do. All right. Thanks for tuning in to Schultzycast episode 24. Please like, share, and subscribe. Again, we need to get around to the artwork. That is a me thing. I may just put the logo on there for now. And go with that. Appreciate it. We'll see if the Cajuns can bounce back. And it really is, the momentum starts with, the next day's pitcher, and that's Andrew Herman. So he's got to bounce back, did not pitch well against Coastal Carolina. Langevin was outstanding. So we're looking for those two to set the tone for the weekend against Southern Miss. All right. Have a great day, everybody. And we will talk to you again Friday morning.